Ron's kind of getting on my ass. He's like, come on, dude. Like I can
Yeah.
just see him sometimes, and I'm like regressing in workouts sometimes, and he's like,
Is
okay,
he coming to your place or you train at his gym?
no, I go to his gym.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
He's
go to
got a
his
nice
gym.
gym.
Amazing gym. Amazing gym. Have you
No, but I've
have you
seen like
trained there?
he's with Mutant, right? So he does Mutant on a Mission videos. So
Yeah.
once in a while he does videos in his gym. And of course, I know him from the bodybuilding space. I met Ron Bartlow at Mr. Olympia. Super nice guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah, he was telling me about you guys, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's funny.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, so we met there a little bit, and he's got a great gym, obviously. So it's a good place to train. Yeah, and he's been
dude.
in the
There's
sport
no
for decades.
forever. He was
Yeah,
like 330, 320, 330. He
yeah,
said at his biggest.
yeah.
It was
Before he turned
insane.
prone. Yeah. Yeah, and then he had some quad injuries, unfortunately, and that's usually the exit for most of
Yeah,
us. We kind of
yeah,
destroy ourselves, and then we have to,
yeah.
slim down a little bit. But he's still in shape, man. He's one of the more shredded
Oh, dude,
guys I
he's
saw in
he's like
the,
240,
the Mr.
250,
Olympia.
lean.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and all he does now, he trains, but he really likes flatland biking.
Oh, really? Yeah, I remember
So,
him.
like, always on his
Yeah.
story, he's, like, doing, like, tricks and stuff on his bike, and like, there's, like, this huge 240-pound shredded dude, like, just doing these, like, weird flips. I'm like, "What the hell, man? How do you do this?"
You always need a new passion, man. After
Yeah.
after going all in on this bodybuilding journey, then you need something to go all in too, because it's the only way
Yeah,
you
and
know,
that's
right?
the that's a good topic we could discuss is,
Mhm,
like, a lot of guys in the gym, I feel like they get so and this was my problem too when I
mhm.
was powerlifting is, like, my deadlift was, like, everything to me. That's
Yeah.
all I cared about.
Mhm.
That's all I had. That's all I wanted. I got a big deadlift. I don't care about anything else. I'll work at the supplement store making minimum wage. What do I care?
Yeah.
Like I
Free
don't give a crap.
creatine.
Yeah, free creatine, man. Like, oh, supplement samples, awesome, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care. And there were times I was dating women and I was in these relationships and they were like, let's go ice skating, let's go hiking, let's go
Can't.
do
Can't.
and I would say no. And they're like, why? And I'm like, oh, what if I injure myself? I got a competition coming up.
Yeah.
I got a meet coming up. I can't risk that. Or like, oh, I don't want to burn the calories. I'm trying to gain weight right now.
Yeah, no sex before lift day. Maybe
Yeah.
not. Yeah, maybe not that extreme. I can't miss
Yeah,
out on that.
I would yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah. No, there were times, man. There were times where I was going for a big lift and I'm like, no, I want to be really aggressive and just not relieve myself, not have sex. So I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that was short lived.
Of
Um
course, yeah, you do
so
it
how
twice
do
and
you
then
how,
no way.
yeah, no. So, but yeah, like every time you do, every time you nut, you're just like really calm and like I'm like you don't have that drive
No, because
anymore
you
for
just
like a few
released.
hours.
Yeah, so you better
Yeah,
keep that as a release at the platform,
yeah,
but
yeah, and
on
they
the
don't
lift,
get that.
guys, on
Yeah,
the lift. Yeah.
disqualified.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
white
it.
lights, eh?
Yeah, oh,
Yeah, three
shoot.
white lights.
Yeah.
Um, so how would you like to your followers? How would you suggest that they create a lifestyle
Mhm,
if they're all about the gym, even mentally, to maybe have a bit of a balance? Because I feel like it is really important,
mhm,
and like we said, even for our work, if we take a bit of a break, it helps us, if anything,
yeah.
because when we get back to it, we're fresh.
Well, you need a second hobby. Like you have Star Wars Theory, and I have
Yeah,
my YouTube channel. And even though my YouTube channel revolves around the same thing I do for my passion, it's
yeah,
you need something to focus your attention and effort onto that it becomes more all-consuming than lifting, which is a
right.
slow transition. But once it happens, you realize, like, wait a minute, now I don't have to think about buying another kit of growth. I can buy all the kits of growth and buy a house on
Yeah,
the same time because now your business is thriving. Right? But before, when I was a meathead, I'd literally have to think about these little expenses like, I can't really afford this. So, okay, I won't buy lifting straps so I can buy more gear. Right. That's how
yeah,
bad it gets. And a lot of guys are in
yeah,
this position because I see it in the comment section all the time. How can you afford all this stuff? I said, well, I focus my efforts on things that make money before
yeah,
lifting. I'm a husband first, then a businessman, and then a semi-retired bodybuilder still going to the gym for fitness purposes. So
right.
I think you need like an outlet where you can channel all this fitness energy into elsewhere, and then hopefully that other channel makes you money. And it can be the same thing like I did. Like I talk about my fitness and drug experiences and monetize it. But if you like Star Wars, then by all means, I mean, you proved it
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
anybody, right? You let it go, and now you're one of the biggest and the most well known. And and if that's chess, okay, go play chess.
Yeah.
But do it 100%. Or Lego. I know guys that stop training just to start a Lego channel, and now they have the biggest,
Yeah.
the biggest and baddest Lego channel, or do video games. But you have to,
Yeah.
whatever you do, you just got to realize that there's a lot of competition, and you have to be the absolute best. Otherwise, you're not going to stand out.
Yeah.
You,
That's the thing I hear about the most. It's like, "Oh, I wanna make a YouTube channel, but there's just so much, it's so saturated." It's like, don't worry about that.
yeah, if you're good,
Don't think
if you're
about it."
good, you don't have to worry. But if you're average, then maybe become good first, and then
Yeah.
But you can also
That
learn
would
on the
help.
job. You can learn on the job. I'll be fair, because I learned a lot since starting this YouTube channel. But it's exiting from hardcore bodybuilding. It's either an injury, right? Whether that's the muscle tear, or some sort of organ that failed, or yeah, or a kid.
There's some sort of organ that
Yeah, oh,
failed.
dude, that's the only way that these guys stop. Yeah, they got
Jesus.
kidney failure, and they just keep pushing and
Oh
pushing and
god.
pushing, and then the kidney pops, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe I have to stop." And then they turn that into a business. There's multiple guys. I'm not going to name any names, but
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of guys that that popped something. They broke something internally, and then they realized, okay, now it's time to really monetize it because I can't go to the gym. And then they do quite well. So,
Yeah.
or having a kid, where they realize, like, oh, I can't spend all this money on my own drugs. I gotta, buy baby food and,
Right.
formula and that
Baby
kind of stuff.
formula and
Yeah,
yeah, exactly,
it's
right.
expensive too.
Y
So, and if that's not going to happen, not one of these big three, remove all the mirrors, go on TRT, and then so you don't have to look into yourself in the mirror, watch yourself shrink and get smaller and smaller, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, which is hard. But after you've gone through it a couple times, it's actually okay. But if you've never gone
Oh,
through it,
dude.
then the first time you're like, oh, you literally go bald,
Yeah.
losing your gains.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, yeah.
Yeah,
I went both, and for a powerlifter, like, losing your strength is the same as a bodybuilder losing their
yeah,
muscle.
hmm,
'Cause a lot of powerlifters aren't necessarily like, you've seen a lot of the skinny guys, and they just have really strong tendons and a good CNS, and they could pull
yeah, you can
or
pull right
squat or
through.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar
Um,
with Pete Rubish, one of the earliest deadlifters?
dude,
Yeah,
I interviewed Pete, over 10 years ago, yeah, and I know him for
really.
a long time.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
funny. He's still in a
Yeah,
YouTube
man.
game. I did a couple
I
interviews
know,
with him
yeah,
as well. So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he left it all behind. Right, he went off cycle. He had a kid with his
I know, yeah.
wife, and he's still lifting, but not to the same intensity. And he's focusing his efforts on business also. And it's I think you just needed something else to channel your strength aspirations to.
I know, and, when I was competing, he was, like, the dude I one of the dudes I looked up to, like him, there was Brandon Lilly, there were so many, like, there was George Lehman at the time who I think, like, moved to Thailand or something,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's in Cambodia. I met him twice. He's a super nice guy.
Oh,
Yeah, super
oh,
nice guy.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. There were so many of those guys, man. It was, like, back in the 2010 to 2016 days, it was, like,
right.
peak no one really power lifted, but the people who did were, like, diehard about it and
Exactly.
crazy.
Yeah.
And like Chris Hickson and Eric Lillybridge and Ernie and all these dudes. It was a wild time, and I just remember Pete was just like, you knew when he was on trend.
Oh yeah.
You knew when this and he was just a freaking phenomenon, man. Like it was amazing to watch him lift. I used to watch him lift in his videos before I'd go to the gym because it would
Right.
just pump me up.
Right.
And now I see like he's completely, done a 180 and changed
Mhm.
his whole lifestyle and everything. But I have to wonder, with his test levels now being shot, and
Mhm.
I saw that his latest post, they're
Right.
back to like 550 or something, and so
Yeah,
they're
it takes.
finally coming
Yeah,
back.
finally coming. It takes forever,
Years,
man. It takes forever. It took him 2
years.
years. Yeah, yeah.
But like, don't you think at that point TRT would be beneficial, and you're actually doing your body a disservice
I told I
and
want you.
damaging
So
yourself?
you wanted to compete in a drug tested or natural, quote unquote, natural federation,
Yeah,
which he did, I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
And then I told him, said, "Hey, dude, come back because it's at this point you're just torturing yourself, you know."
yeah.
And
Your
and you
ligaments, your
Yeah.
brain,
Well, you already
everything.
had your kid, and then, part of our identity is still the lifts. Doesn't have to be that crazy on a gram of tren or whatever. But
No,
as long as you're on a little bit of TRT and life is so much easier, like you experienced, and
yeah,
plus TRT is like, or HRT is like part of the entrepreneur stack. So
yeah.
the more
It's
dopamine,
anti-aging kind
yeah,
of.
All right,
Yeah,
and the more
yeah,
productivity
yeah,
you have, the better it is for business. So, Pete, if
yeah.
you're watching, join the club again. All right, it's my turn now to be off cycle, but you've earned your right to get back on cycle, or at least TRT.
Yeah, like, I mean, why not just, like, 150 milligrams, like a nothing dose pretty
Mhm.
much?
Yeah,
I
but
think he would be healthy.
it would feel so much better than what he's doing now.
Oh, I'm sure I'm sure he would feel great. He's
Yeah.
still a big that's just crazy. He's still so huge. With
When it's earned, it doesn't go away. Like anywhere I
yeah,
go, people think that I'm huge. Even though I'm
yeah.
91 and a half, 92 kilos. It's so much smaller than
Well,
before. Yeah.
that's what Ron said too. He said you're a big dude.
Yeah, but then I was 105 on cycle. Yeah, you have to be
Oh,
booked
okay.
for the Mr. Olympia. Hopefully, I can get my wife pregnant before the Mr. Olympia, and then all I need is 8 weeks. 8 weeks before I
What?
go to the US, so I can get some of the size back.
Yeah, so then we won't be the same size when we meet each other.
Uh,
I'll be done 200 and I'll start climbing and then
yeah. Well, it doesn't matter, right? But it's like I still love being 240, man. I love being like over 100 kilos and large and in charge and thick
How
and
tall are you?
strong. 5'9". Yeah, 175
We're
centimeters.
same height.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never been over 208, 210.
Oh,
But
really?
like a fat
Fat,
210.
fat 210. Yeah.
Like a power lifter 210, you
So
know?
the highest I've been is 255, 260 at the end of the day, and it's pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, at our height, man, that's
No, Ron is a little bit taller, right? I think he's like
oh, dude, he's like
six
six
two,
six one or something,
6'1". Yeah, yeah, he's a tall
something,
dude. So
six
like
two,
300, he could carry well, but you ask him the
6'2",
same
yeah.
question, he'd be probably, I was miserable, but that's what you needed to do, in the off season.
Yeah, he said 330 was, pretty uncomfortable.
It's a full time job. Yeah, I like
Yeah,
225 lean. Yeah, so I'm at the same time that I'm off, I'm trying to stay as lean as possible. So I got all these fucking salty dog lines in my face, pug lines, like those dogs, that they have all the
oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's only going to get
yeah,
worse. And then hopefully, if I can get my wife pregnant, let's say by August, which isn't unrealistic based on how my fertility parameters are improving.
that's good.
Yeah, then I got about 8 weeks, 6 weeks. That's all I need for the Olympia.
That's that's all Vigorous Steve needs.
Yeah, the muscle
Yeah,
memory is in. Dude, I remember last time I came off cycle for 9 months. I had to fix
yeah.
that non-alcoholic fatty liver disease issue, which took a little bit longer than expected. And I shrank down to like 88 kilos. I was emaciated.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, I was fucking emaciated because I had to starve the fat off of my liver. So anyway, I went back on at TRT, and then I blew up
Yeah,
to like 97 in a couple of weeks.
yeah,
I'm like, holy shit! And I
yeah,
was still lean. Man, what's going on? And then before I knew it, I was 110. So
yeah,
it goes really really fast. So my goal right
yeah.
now is just fertility and stay healthy and stay as lean as possible. Which I have lines in my glutes, so I'm good.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I got lines. Surprising, I went to Bali and then I pulled my pants down after a night of alcohol. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm looking
Oh, yeah,
like,
you're gonna be
yeah,
peeled.
you're gonna kind of.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. So,
So, you have your kid, let's say,
mm.
when you do, you're ready to go back. What are you gonna do?
I just TRT to start.
What are you gonna
Start
take?
low, and
Oh,
then
that's it?
if I
Oh, okay.
want to build it back up, yeah, it might be test and primo, test primo anavar. Now I say probably no GH, no insulin because it makes me sleepy. But you never know how I feel at that time. Um, but I'll just slowly start and ramp things up, and then see where I land. Which is probably going to be less than the previous cycle because I notice that every time I do a cycle, I need less uh,
Yeah.
PEDs or my aspirations are lower. It's kind of like
Right, yeah.
yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
some of the crypto charts. Right? Every time the peak is lower, and at one
Yeah.
point it flatlines, and they are just on TRT.